I met my love by the gasworks wall. Dreamed a dream by the old canal. I kissed my girl by the factory wall. Dirty old town, dirty old town. Clouds are drifting all across the moon. Cats are calling all along the beat. There springs a girl from the streets at night, in this dirty old town, dirty old town, dirty old town, dirty old town. I heard a whistle coming from the docks. I saw Jimmy Johnstone set the night on fire. I smelled the spring on the smoking lid in this dirty old town, dirty old town, this dirty old town, dirty old town. I met my love by the factory wall. I dreamed a dream by the old canal. I kissed my girl by the factory wall. Dirty old town, dirty old town, dirty old town, dirty old town. Sunshine, thank you.
Later on, the Academy were going to play in the Rangers International Youth Tournament in 2010, 2011. And a guy called Jeff Healy, who made Lord of the Wing, asked if we could bring a Jimmy Johnson team to Windsor. And my initial thought was, don't really want to go away at this particular time and such and go down to England and whatever, because now we were starting to, the people were asking us to go and play different places. So we goes to Windsor, and there we are in front of Windsor Castle in the grounds of Windsor. Jimmy Johnson team playing in the grounds of Windsor against Windsor and Eton, organised by Jeff Healy. So we won that game, and we're walking away, and this older fella taps me on the shoulder and he says, "How you doing?" I says, "All right." He says, "I love Jimmy Johnson," and he gets a wee bit emotional, and it's amazing. People do get emotional when they talk about Jimmy Johnson, and that was one of the things. I'm diversing a wee bit, but it's quite important. I refused to speak to Archie McPherson when he done the book called Undefeated. He asked me if I could tell him some of the stories and what Jimmy discussed. I can't do that. What Jimmy and I discuss personally is private. And I said, after speaking to Margot when she done the BBC Alba, I would never go into discussions about Jimmy Johnson again, because it affects you emotionally. And when we done come out the Margot one, grown men, Bertie, Willie Henderson, even Willie Hockey, you know, emotional. They get emotional because you start to think round about him when he was ill, and it comes back and floods. Anyway, so the old fella was crying, and I says, take it easy. He says, yeah, Jimmy Johnson was my hero. I says, right, okay. He said, I've got a wee team, I wonder if you could play us tomorrow. And I said, well, we've got to go up the road. He said, well, it would mean the world to me. I said, we can't do it, but one will give you some memorabilia, some DVDs for Jeff and such and whatever. And so he's walking me. I said, I'll tell you what, we'll play you. And this is how fate has a wonderful way of working. And again, the magic and the mystic of Jimmy Johnstone works. So we play this team on the Sunday morning, and this kid catches my eye. And I go, wow, he's something else. So he scores a great goal against us, and I actually goes on the park, and I say, that was a great goal. It was a great goal, that kid. Yeah. I says, have you heard of Jimmy Johnson? He says, no. I said, you heard of Celtic? He said, yeah, well, we're Celtic. We're Eldon Celtic. I says, right, okay, but do you know much about Celtic? He said, I need to get on with the game. I says, forget the game. He says, no, not much. So anyway, the referee, I said, go on after the park. Don't worry about the game. And he's standing, he's laughing at me. I can see his big smile now. I said, the best thing that you can do is go and get your kit after this game and come with us up to Scotland. And he laughs and he goes away and he's nodding his head, no. So anyway, the game finishes, Simon. The game finishes. And the coaches for Eldon will shake hands. And he said, I see you speaking to Darnell. I said, wow. He said he's a player. He says, no, he can't get a game. He's a sub. He's the sub. He says, the only reason that he's playing today is this guy called Joe is away playing for the county in the Arsenal International Youth Tournament. I says, nail up for Joe. I said, but he's a player. He said, Jim, we had to get him out of his bed this morning. And maybe his attitude's not the best. I says, I think his attitude's magnificent. I says, I like it. So anyway, gets introduced to his mother, give her my number. I said, if you phone me before we get to Birmingham, we'll come back and get you. We're going to play in the Rangers International Youth Tournament. So, don't phone me, we get further up, and his uncle phones me. He said, is that Jim? I said, yeah. He said, I'm Darnell's uncle. He said, first of all, have you got the right player? I says, yep, I've got the right player. He says, right. I says, why don't you come up with Scotland? He says, well, we'd love to, but we can't make it up. I says, tell you what, send Darnell's all his information and we'll fly him up. We're going to play in the Rangers International Youth Tournament. I said, I'm going to tell you something. I believe in your nephew. I said, he's got the potential to become a football player. He said, yeah, you sure? You really sure? I said, the word I'm using is potential. So the boy comes up, comes off the plane. I phone this man to my right-hand side's brother, Raymond. And I says, Raymond, I wonder if you could oblige me. And I need to come over to, could you phone somebody at Ibrox for me? I would like to go over to Ibrox. He said, what do you want to go there for? I said, I'd like to go over and see the trophy room. So we goes across and the guys open up for us and whatever they take us in. And I said, where's the Rangers International Youth Tournament trophy? So they shows it and I says to Darnell and Brandon, who's my son, that's our trophy. We're going to win that. So it was a bit of a laugh. Away we go. Phones Brian Meakin up at Celtic Park. I says, Brian, I wonder if I can come up with a player who's going to be your next player that I believe. And Brian laughs. He says, of course you can come up, Jim, bring him. I said, I flew the boy up. So we goes in, shows him run, sits him in the dugout, and I said, this is Celtic Park. This is paradise. what they call Paradise, Darnell. So we puts Darnell in a hotel with my son and Jordan Moffat, the Celtic player at the time, playing the Rangers International Youth Tournament. Bertie comes along on the second last day, kind of takes over the way Bertie does, but brilliantly at Rangers International Youth Tournament, introducing himself, and everybody's going to him. How we doing, son? I said, well, we're in the semi-final. Bertie, oh, it's great. Bertie's got all his Lisbon Lion gear on. So we have the semi-final, we won it. Bertie says, can I come back tomorrow and take Jimmy's team? I said, of course you can. I says, you're the boss. Of course you can. So Bertie comes back in the cup final. So we're playing Rangers in the cup final at the Rangers International Youth Tournament. So Bertie's gone down, and it was great with all the young Rangers players and whatever. He's talking away to them, saying, you know, I've been in many a tunnel in my day and I've been in many a games, but this is the most important game I've ever been involved in. This cup final against all you guys. And do you all know who this is over here? This is Jimmy Johnstone's team. And it was the way that he said it, guys. It was the way that he said it. This is Jimmy Johnstone's team. It's passion. It's passion. And you run about the lines as well. They actually grab you by the arm. You know, they all grab you by the arm. Passion. This is what it's about. And he says to all Jimmy's team, remember, you play for Jimmy Johnstone. Go out and entertain. Go out and entertain. He says, we're not coming to anything other than a win to win the Rangers International Youth Tournament. So we won it. We won that. Bertie's delighted. He was delighted. So we speak to Chris McCart and we say, we'll get this boy. The Celtic scout was there at the time. Didn't see anything there. Went to Chris, says, Chris, will you take him up for training? So he takes him up, and after that, Tommy McIntyre, whatever, says, he's not as good as what we've got. We're not as good as what we've got. I says, no, I'd agree with you. He says, okay. I said, he's better. He's better. He's better than what we've got, guys. Right. So give Chris his due. Chris says, Jim, we've got a game against Newcastle United on the Friday. If we can get him there and you can get him home, we'll take him down. So we take him down. So he goes in the bus, the Celtic bus. We go down, and the kid has an outstanding game. And the rest is history, I suppose. But something magical as well, when Darnell walked in the doors of Celtic Park, just as we were walking to the car park, the young man bent down and he picked up a crucifix as he walked in the front door. And I says to him, that's an omen. I say, that's a fantastic omen. I says, I think Jimmy Johnstone is with you. And he started laughing. He said, I'm going to do my best, Jim. So I'm sure here we are today, and Darnell Fisher, Jimmy would have been proud of him, proud of every boy that's went on to professional football. Darnell maybe just that wee bit special because he came up the way we found him, playing in the tournament, going up 2 league championship medals later, voted Young Celtic Player of the Year, a League Cup winners medal, on the bench in a European game. Call it fate, call it whatever you want, call it the mystery, the magic of Jimmy Johnstone. We shouldn't have been playing that game that second day. That kid had a bad attitude, was in his bed, had to get him out of his bed. The kid that went to play in the tournament, it was meant. And Neil Lennon came to me, and was at a night, and he says, tell me, how did this Darnell all come? I said, I think wee Jinky just wanted him to play for Celtic. And he said to me, Neil said to me, I think you're right. So good on the boy. So he's went on to play, and I think at the moment he's playing with Preston North End, and he's got a new deal. So I'm proud of him, and I'm proud, and I hope to this day he's looking after his mum and his family, which is very, very important. So since then, we're very fortunate that we now have had, up till now, 18 players progress onto professional clubs. One boy, Junior Organ, Rangers came to us. Celtic at that time, he never came near regarding Junior. And I phoned Willie Henderson. I says, Willie, Rangers would like to sign a guy called Junior will go, son, oh that makes me proud. The way he says it, that Broxburn accent, oh, that makes me proud. Jimmy would be proud. Oh, he said, oh, how funny is that? Jimmy Johnston's academy are giving a player to Rangers Football Club. That's great. Anyway, I spoke to Willie Hockey about it as well, and with the crack with Ali, and we got the player up. He signs for Rangers. Turns out against Celtic at Partick Thistle, and I think there was 13,000 there that night. And Junior scores the 2 goals against Celtic for Rangers to win the Glasgow Cup. And me and Willie have got to go out, me and Willie Hockey, I've got to go out and present the trophy because Willie sponsors the Glasgow Cup. And I look at Junior, and Junior looks at me, and I says, I'll get you later, big man. And so there's another fantastic story, and not to take away for the rest of the boys that have moved on to professional football. One in particular we're proud of as well is Big Stephen Bronski, who came for the original team, and he's up playing with Elgin, and a young player called Rubino Marr as well. And isn't it magnificent and fantastic to think that Jimmy Johnston's academy has had 22 nationalities play for them to date. And currently we're keeping an eye on a young lad. Another one we've gave to Celtic is Azim Abdullah. So he's now he'll go into under 17 this year, and there's great hopefully he's got the potential. He's in the same team as young Caddy, Dembele, and other players. But that's a good team. That's a lovely wee team there. So that's the story. Jimmy Johnston Academy. That's the story. There's so much more to tell you guys. We're at Carkin Park. We're going to be there for the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. We've only started. The last 9 years, 10 years now, has been building a foundation and building something that we can build upon. Not just build something, we're just here to play football. We're just here. Jimmy's idea, Jimmy's vision was way beyond that. And if I could tell you this one, and he says, big man, you do me a favour. I says, of course. He said, here's what I want you to do. He said, this is important. I need you to do me this favour. I says, of course. So we're sitting in his house. And he said, I want you to take my name and use it whatever way you feel fit for the benefit of young people, whether it be in sport, whether it be in health, whether it be in education. He said, there's no hurry. But would you do that for me, Simmy? And I said, of course I will. Would I do it for anybody else? I don't really know. But that was the magnetism of Jimmy Johns as well. We asked you to do him a favour, everybody said aye. And you never said no to him. And he was the king. He was the king. When you see politicians coming to him, when you see like Henrik coming to him, when you see Bertie coming to him, you see guys like Willie Hockey going to him, and you see guys like Willie Henderson, the great Sandy Jardine, the great John Gregg, all the great players that we've had, they all went. Ali McCoist as well, presenting with the Fabergé egg. Rod Stewart, been on the phone to Bono, and such. It's endless. The list is endless. But when they were on his presence, you could just tell that Jimmy Johnston was the king. He was the king. And every now and again, he would say to you, can I sing you a wee song? And he loved Frankie Miller. That's important. There's lots of important things to tell you, which is important for going forward for the history, because that's important, and it's a very important saying if you know your history. But we have got to know it, and there's got to be people who document it for guys like Jimmy Johnston. It doesn't just mean the greatest Celtic player, and that's it. What does it mean being the greatest Celtic player, and where does that legacy go from here to where we want to get to? It's all down to the people who come on the bus and go on the journeyways. But he loved Frankie Miller. But he says to me, I'd like to sing a wee song. So when anybody came, he would sing a song. So he said, I'm going to sing your song. So he starts singing it. And as he's singing it, I'm absolutely in tears. And it's a song called Come Back Paddy Riley to Barley James Duff. And he was singing it. He said, I love that song. And it wasn't years later, I felt very privileged and honoured because apparently that was the song that he sang to his mammy when she was passing away. So you can put that down as part of his history. That's a song that he loved very, very much, but he just loves singing. And when we dropped him off at Jim Care for Dirty Old Town as well, he didn't know he was gone. He was absolutely bluttered out his mind the night before it. But he went and he went in there and he just wanted to keep singing. And Dirty Old Town, Jim Care and Charlie done a great job with him on it. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. And we've actually got, Agnes gave us another record, his own personal record, but we've got, I think you've seen it, Paul, at Carkin Park, Passing Time. And you know, when you listen to some parts of the words of that, it's fantastic, you know. It's absolutely fantastic. He was an entertainer on the football park, but if he wouldn't have been, I think he would definitely have been on the stage and he'd have been singing. He was loved by many. I met an old guy at 81 yesterday, old guy, Johnny Malone, who was a dear friend of his who was older than him. And this Johnny Thompson thing keeps coming back to us. But Agnes said that Jimmy did play in the Johnny Thompson final, and this old guy said, we were older than Jimmy and he trained with us, but you had to see him, but you had to be there when he was younger. He was nothing short of magical. He was brilliant. He was brilliant on the ball.
We've had many stories on this podcast, but I don't think we've had one that's so human. A guy who had such faith in human nature. I'm actually quite emotional after that. That's brilliant.
It was great to hear, and of course the legacy will live on through the charitable element as well now, won't it?
Yeah, and obviously Simon's going to come in with that as well. And Jimmy was a very charitable man. See if I wanted a tenner, I've asked Jimmy for a tenner. Jimmy would go to Simon, say, "Gives a Lenny a tenner," and come and give me the tenner. Such was the kindness of Jimmy. And Agnes, you know, I've actually found out that Agnes didn't marry a world-renowned footballer. Jimmy married a superstar. The strength of Agnes Johnstone is nothing short of magnificent again. The strength of that woman, she never get Jimmy didn't want the home helps in and whatever. Agnes done it, and a wee bit of respite and whatever, you know. And now and again she would go to the club or go to the bingo, and you would sit with Jimmy, and she's a star. Honestly, she's an unsung star of a woman today. What she's done with Jimmy and the rest of her family and whatever is brilliant. Honestly, you fall in love with her. She's actually like an adopted mammy. That's what she's like. She's like an adopted mammy. And it didn't matter if you went to her house, sit down, there's the toast, and there's your tea and whatever. So, the charity, you were saying, the charity in the Johnstone household, the door was always opened and everybody's welcome. Always. Nobody was ever, and that to my knowledge, ever turned away, even the last days, latter days, months of his illness. And even the rest day, if you turn up Nuddingston, she would probably answer the door and sit you down for a cup of tea. So from there, the charity continues. The Jimmy Johnstone Charitable Trust. We've been working on it for 2 years, and that's all came to fruition last year. And from here, part 2 of the story starts. So we'll get Simon and nobody better than I think than Simon. It's meant for Simon to come along and to be involved in the charity as well.
Simon, if you could give us an idea of the main objective and some of the plans for the future with the Jimmy Johnstone Charitable Trust.
We're in the process of writing the business plan. We're going to take time over that to get it right. Faith comes through for me in all of this. You know, back to the foundations of Celtic. Jimmy Johnstone represents what's good about Celtic. Brother Walfrid, his principles, reflected through the way he led his life, how it impacted in his family and others. Going through difficult times, challenging times, having that resilience. To me, everything we do is about positivity, and positive people are drawn towards supporting the charity going forward. The foundations are incredible. Jim's outlined that. Now is the right time to take things forward because we owe it to this faithful servant of Celtic that led his life in such a remarkable way and inspired others on and off the pitch. This is a great thing about Jimmy. He's brought me to the table. I had the privilege of working at Celtic with the fans. I loved it. I had the privilege of working with Tommy Burns for a period of time. God rest him. Great people, great experiences. I've had experience in other areas, but what's remarkable to me is when you mention his name, how people respond. Bumped into Frank McAvenny the other day in the back of an outing with some of his pals from Newcastle. As soon as he mentioned his name, he said, that man made such a difference to me. People are positive about Jimmy, so I think his spirit has touched me. Cathkin's a special place, but it's not just going to be about Cathkin, it's about what the local people want from that in terms of how we can use that community asset to the benefit of the local community, particularly with a focus on children and young people. So there's going to be the football side, the health, education, there's a volunteering side, there's a training and development of young people, there's a music side, there's a cultural side, there's a heritage element. So we're in the process of working with a number of partners and collaborators. Everyone we've gone to has been positive. Andy Gould at the SFA, brilliant. We're going to work with them in promoting grassroots football at Cathkin. Working the SPFL Trust with Stevie Chalmers and Derek Allison again. When they come out to Cathkin, they feel the spirit of the place. We hope to work with them going forward, and we've received some money from the Scottish Football Foundation through Stuart McCaffrey to run a summer programme. And, you know, we want to get it right for the benefit of young people, particularly those children that don't get a chance. So it's actually back to the roots. And remember the inaugural festival with Jimmy Johnstone was in 2004. We'll be doing lots more festivals to impact across cultures and age groups with a particular focus in children and young people. We've got a great partnership with the City Council as well, who have been brilliant supporters.
Yep.
Right from the time that Jim went to them to access Glasgow Green. And we'll work with them going forward. We'll take advice, we'll align our strategies against what they want to see developed through that community asset to the benefit of local people. But then it's also about the global reach, and Jim has alluded to a lot of that. He's an inspirational person globally, and we're in the process of how do we bring that to life through social media and through our communication engagement strategy. So it's a really great ride to be on this, and looking forward to the challenges ahead and working with positive people going forward.
I think it's very important, and you're correct, Simon. And you know, the team will grow and they'll play their part in the team as we go with the charity as well. Obviously, Paul, yourself being involved, and now we're very thankful and we appreciate that you have decided to become a global ambassador for us at Jimmy Johnstone. which I think is good. When Agnes met you, she said, he's a nice boy. You get good feelings from people. And I think the charity side where Simon is talking about will be, it's great that we've actually just agreed with Glasgow and District Youth Football League that we would help the 3,000 kids at under 13 run about that we would help them go into 9v9s. The SFA have brought out 9v9s. So through the charity side of Jimmy Johnson, we will facilitate goals at Carkin Park, and we'll let the teams play there, because facilities are literally very, very, very scarce, and goals are very... actually, there's none. There's literally none. So we have said that we would work in partnership with them for them to come to Carkin Park, and we would supply the goals. So there's another 3,000 kids, literally, and for the years to come, will benefit from playing at Carkin Park, Jimmy's home ground now. And what's very important as well, you know, we've got legends, we've got our heroes at the moment. That again, dementia is a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. I've witnessed it firsthand with my father, and we know that we're heroes and we're legends. Some of them at this particular time might not be too good with that illness. So I think it's very important that we get involved in dementia as well, and possibly I think Jimmy would have liked that Carkin Park could be like some drop-in cafe, so to speak. I'm just saying, it just came to my mind, drop-in Jinky's Cafe, where these people with suffer from dementia, they could come here and they could see the memorabilia, they could see the beautiful letters that's on the wall to Jimmy. I mean, on the wall, again, you've witnessed it firsthand there, Paul. I mean, I think there's 7 English managers paying their respects to Jimmy and how good he was. You get letters from the Vatican, you get letters from Buckingham Palace, we've got letters from Real Madrid, we've got letters from Barcelona, we've got letters from Rangers Supporters Association, whatever. So if these people, and what I found out from yesterday as well, it's not just older people that's starting to suffer from things like dementia, Simon. It's younger people. When I mean younger people, maybe people in their 30s and their 40s and whatever. So thinking about things from long ago with the older people with the football, and if we could help in that as well, then brilliant. So dementia's important. Mental health overall is important. Education, health in general. The walking football. Well, we spoke to young Stevie Chalmers, who is the grandson of Stevie Chalmers, and another young man who came over. If we could be involved in various things and helping people, Jimmy would be delighted.
I mean, it's an incredible, astonishing tale, and I could talk to you for many more hours about it. But thanks very much for sharing your memories, Simon and Jim. As Kevin said earlier, it was very emotional to hear that. So thanks very much for sharing that with us.
Thanks.
And thanks for spending some time to tell us all about the Academy and the Charitable Trust.
Thanks, boys.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
The Garden of Eden has vanished, they say, but I know the lie of it still. Just turn to the left at the Bridge of Finay and stop when halfway to Coot Hill. 'Tis there you will find it, I know sure enough, when fortune has come to my call. The grass that grows green around Ballyjane's stuff and the blue sky is over it all. In tones that are tender and tones that are rough, I'm whispering over the sea. Come back, Paddy Riley, to Ballyjamestuff. Come home, Paddy Riley, to me. My mother once told me that when I was born, the day that I first saw the light, I looked down that street on the very first morn and gave a great crow of delight. Now most newborn babies appear in a huff and start with a sorrowful squall. But I knew I was born in Ballyjamestuff, and that's why I smiled at them all. The baby's a man now, he's toil-worn and tough, still whispers come over the sea. Come back, Paddy Riley, to Ballyjamestuff. Come home, Paddy Riley, to me.
A Celtic State of Mind's previous episodes can be accessed by searching iTunes, Spreaker or your pre-installed podcast player. Make sure to subscribe and you won't miss our upcoming episodes with former players, musical icons, documentary makers and Celtic supporters. You can keep up to date with us and get in touch at Paul Dykes and at A Northern Prose. We also have a new website, thecelticstar.com, and on that website we have a host of writers giving you daily Celtic news, including Jim Craig, who gives a morning blog. We also have contributors such as David Potter and Scotty Allcroft. Tune in next week, we will have another guest with a Celtic State of Mind.